Coming into the day today, I was very bullish, looking at how price had moved overnight. Not even at how had moved overnight, but even just the previous day. We had a sustained price run, very, very high price. Really seemed like it wanted to get somewhere. So then looking at this morning, price was just kind of hanging down around in these 4 hour for value gaps here and not really doing a whole ton. And then we have our 6 o'clock. So by 6 o'clock, this candle was much higher and my bias was changing once we got to the 9:30 open, just because it was sort of retracing. These were the trades from today. Uh, So looking at the 1 hour, so the 1 hour ended up getting a lot of attention today, just in the fact that we did have a nice valid dealing range, and this 1 hour for value gap here was our first fair value gap in premium, and price had a market structure shift to move lower. So at this point, looking at the chart this closely, I wasn't 100% sure, because price is still continuing to move higher. So price is continuing to move higher on a higher time frame. The higher time frame bias is bullish, but looking at a more intraday bias, we have this would be OTE. Price is in OTE. It's in premium. We have had a market structure shift to the downside. We are very slow to move up. If we want to go down, we can. It's valid to go down. Yeah, coming into market, I wasn't 100% sure, but I did overall want longs. So that drew me to this 30-minute for value gap in here, and I wanted to see this be respected. Um, so looking at market open, I started to think, hey, maybe it is pretty valid for shorts here. So I did take a short. Looking here on NQ. I did take a short in this 1 minute for value gap around this breaker, and I partialed at this low, and then got stopped at break even. But I do want to point out the bullishness. Price did book to a singular for value gap that is in discount and held it. Oop, can we get it? There we go. Price held it, but then we do end up nicking through there, and that's where I would like to point out this little tiny volume imbalance. Little volume imbalance. Look at those bodies. I had seen the bodies just close perfectly to the tick, and then we get an immediate rejection off of that. And at this point, I am looking for longs because it doesn't get much more perfect than that, how the body's held. But yeah, we rejected around 2.5, jumped down into that volume imbalance, and here I was really looking for longs. And they just weren't getting delivered how I wanted them to. But looking at standard deviation of this manipulation leg, the 2.5 aligned just above this buy side. So that gave me much more confidence that price did want to continue higher. So we did come up. Price created a 1 minute for value gap in here. I entered with my stop below this order block, and I targeted to this high, and then I came back and got stopped at break even. But looking at how the rest of the day played out, so price, oh, let's get to where we are. So that 1 hour fair value gap in premium held, and price held. We came down in, we bumped up into it, came down, bumped up into it, came down, bumped up into it a third time. So three drive pattern, and then we start getting a very aggressive breakdown. So looking at a 3 minute. So looking at a 3 minute, we got a singular for value gap. 1 hour for value gap, price is holding it. We break down, we inverse this 3 minute for value gap, and taking the inverse would have been an incredible risk to reward down to these data lows. But price breaks down. We have a market structure shift. This is the start of our market maker sell model. And we have our first fair value gap after our market structure shift. Price taps into it to the tick and then drops right off the face. But marking this out, stop would have been above this little breaker right here, and targeting this low, this data low, and then this next subsequent low. But sell definitely was in it for the day, and I was not looking for a sell. I was getting a little frustrated with how price action was, and this entire week, morning price action has not been amazing. It's just not been highly favorable. This wiki back and forth action, where price rejects and goes to makes sense, but how it gets there has been very, very sloppy, in my opinion, in the morning the last few days. But this market maker sell model ended up playing out very nicely. Just wasn't able to participate in it